Welcome to the Enlighten Up podcast, where I am going to take you into a deep exploration of what it means to exist in this current reality. We are going to raise your vibes, open your mind, expand your heart, and dive deep into the wondrous mysteries and possibilities of this lifetime. There's been a spiritual catalyst that has set in motion the awakening process of many across the globe to return to the knowingness of self and unite what has been separated. Together, we're going to bring light into that darkness. We're going to remember the joy of living. But most of all, we're going to turn up the volume of our own eternal power and do the thing we're here to do. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Enlighten Up podcast. I hope you're all doing well. I am here, of course, with one of my favorite co-hosts, Mary Dusina. She is a seer, an astrologer. She is our Scorpio queen who is here to deliver all the goods on this fantastic full moon in Aquarius that is really one of the coolest full moons I think we've seen in a very long time, for reasons that we're going to actually go deeper into. But, you know, this full moon in Aquarius, what we've kind of looked at it is there's a future that you just really cannot ignore anymore. You cannot ignore this future that is ahead of you. And there is a new path opening up for you. There's some really beautiful things about this full moon, but of course, because we've got the planet Pluto involved, there's a lot of intensity on that moon, on our emotions, things that we cannot avoid, that we have to look at, that become very, very real. And of course, we've got Jupiter, however, on the sun, opposing all of this, bringing in a lot of optimism, I think some hope, and perhaps a lot of warmth to the situation. So it's really interesting how this is all playing out. But before we get fully into it, I want to say, Mary, it's so good to have you back here with us this month. How are you feeling about this full moon?
I'm well aware of the intensity, and even if you're not, blessings to the audience and gratitude to the audience as well as you, lovely Nicole. No one, I think, on the planet can lose sight of the fact, even with the busyness of our intimate personal details of our world, you know, there's a lot of us that wish we could just escape the chaos and the crisis of things that are going on in different points of the world in 2026, the raging fires in Spain and in France, and just historical stuff that's going on besides what people want to term conspiracy theories. I mean, since 2020, we knew with then the conjunction of Capricorn going on that when Pluto arrived back in Aquarius, a lot of astrologers were looking at, when America comes to her 250th, that Pluto cycle of 200 once only and 248 toward 250 years, because it's the slowest moving agent that we deal with in the celestial mechanics. But Pluto, I think it helps advanced, intermediate, and beginning stargazers to understand that Pluto is the absolute, even if we're not consciously aware of it, Pluto is the absolute underneath it all, underground motivations, intentions, hopes, like, you know, sitting around when you're alone and you're quiet and like, why does this happen in my life? This is what I wish could happen. Can I even believe in that? You know, all the fairy tales and things, you know, whether, you know, it's Cinderella, will I ever meet my prince? And then the oddity of the glass slipper and, whatever you're into. So it has to do with, why do I think about it all the time? Could it ever be, do I think about it all the time? Does it come up in my dreams and my visions and my meditations and the consciousness journeys that I do? Will I ever heal this? Why does it taunt me? Why does it haunt me? So, and even in mythology, we've got this movie getting ready. It's releasing out Odyssey. So it's taking this, I'm seeing in stores now a resurgence of bookstores opening up. I kind of thought books weren't a thing anymore, that everybody was just online, but the Odyssey books, even walking through a big box store that everybody's familiar with, it's like, oh, wow, there was this whole shelf of the Odyssey and Greek mythology and all. Well, I'm glad to see that back, because I can promise you, rather than all the complications of studying astrology and how mathematically intense it can be with numbers and degrees and minutes and orbs, and if you learn the stories of the stars, the myths of the planets, the dynamics of the Roman and Greek mythology, even a little Arabic and Egyptian mythology, it just helps you be able to have the stories and the legends and the myths of Zeus, Jupiter, or Saturn, Kronos, or Aphrodite and Venus. And it helps you kind of put in your muscle memory what planets are dancing across the sky from each other, kind of not speaking to each other, getting up close, like we've got, Jupiter in Leo, Zeus, Jupiter in Leo. Leo is a star that's ruled by the star of the sun. And so Jupiter expands things anyway. It's happiest. And the other brother fire sign is Sagittarius. So right now, Leo's in a really good place with Jupiter going into that sign. And then we've got Jupiter and the sun coming together, like they're dancing together. And anything that gets close to the sun like that, there's an Arabic word called kazimi, and it means kissing the face of the sun. A lot of times astrologers will call it crossing the face of the sun or meeting up with the great star of our galaxy. So I feel that because Pluto is very involved in this last full moon before we actually activate the August eclipses, so we truly are opening up the door of the dual eclipses of August now, because the new moon that happens over the 11th and 12th of August will be the sun and the moon and Leo, and Jupiter will be there and Mercury will be there. And so we still got this sun moon thing going on. Mars is going to be in the sign of Cancer. After that, it'll be in Leo. So this fire energy, the fuel of allowing ourselves to stop having character collisions. When it comes to Leo at the base shadow level can be because I want it, it should be. And so you get into this, the worst shadow of it is psychopathy or narcissism or sociopathic behaviors. I'm going to play whatever game it takes and run whatever betrayal I have to do to get my way. You don't have to be a Leo to have that shadow, because we all have a Leo section, house, area, some planets of Leo in our chart. And so Nicole and I are going to be talking to you about the shift in these eclipses, with the shift in the nodal axis that happened over July 26th, as we are approaching this full moon in the sign of Aquarius, which is where Pluto is. So at this full moon, this dance with chance of our willpower, the will to be, what we're willing to do to achieve a reactionary, revolutionary. These are like bigger life changes. I mean, people, whether it's Russia, Ukraine, or the Middle East, or what's going on, that whole Arabian Gulf over there in the Strait of Hormuz. I mean, you can just look at some external events in the world, the severity of fires and storms and things that are going on, that it's like, it's not at a low level. It's just like, hi, I'm dynamic. I'm a karma drama, and I have arrived in your life. And oh, by the way, I'm here. I'm a storm of life, and you will adjust to me. So I think on a personal level, it's really good for us at the simplest base level, when we look at Leo and Aquarius, to look at our character in life. We are looking at what we will pay homage to, what we will see as our energy currency. Leo is about our worth. It's about, what we're willing to do. The highest part of Leo is generosity and the ability to do such a fabulous job, such a great performance that they literally change people's lives around them. The Leo part of our chart is where we can be a star. We can be so magnanimous. The sun rules Leo. So it's the star quality part of it. So even in life, when we've made a mistake, which we either have, we will, we did, the Leo Aquarius dynamic is, okay, you took it to extreme limits, dust yourself off, you had a character collision, so there needs to be corrections. And when we do course corrections in life, it's more than just like, I'm sorry. It has to be maintenance to earn someone's trust back again. When you gave empty promises and you got distracted, or you partied, or you had too much of this or that, and you didn't follow through, and they got hurt only because you opened the door of, I'll take care of it, I'll fix it, I'll do it. So when we drop the ball, and I don't care what sign you are, we're going to do that. Again, we have to do the maintenance and realize that each one of us is building our name, building our legacy, building our reputation. But with Leo and Aquarius, it's showing us how it can evolve, how it can course correct, and how it affects many others that know us, around us in our lives. So, of course, the fun part of Leo is, guess what just happened? There's going to be a celebration. There's going to be a life change. There's a marriage. There's a baby coming. I'm getting, for some people, it's true. Thank God I'm getting divorced. You know, I'm leaving that job. And so it's that courage, which is assigned to Leo. It's the heart chakra, courage, and straightening our back up. People often see Leo as the heart, but it's also our backbone. It's also our ability to stand straight in the face of adversity and put on the holy shields and have the sword of truth and helmet of salvation, saving us, saving a nature, an actual situation. What makes us a hero? What calls us to be a warrior, to defend what we feel is right? Not just a government, not just a country, but what is calling to your soul? So, of course, as often psychologists will tell you, sometimes young children, we were all there once, sometimes young children will do things negatively because in their little young minds where the ego is developing between 1 and 7 to 8 years old, they'll do bad things because at least it's still got all the attention on them. So Leo is our inner child, whether you're 54 or 28 or 19 or 7. So this is that inner child saying, it's time to hear my voice again. So here's a couple of dates I'd write down. So the last time that we were dealing with this kind of energy, when we had these lunar nodes shifting, was like December, mid-December of 2007 through mid-August of 2009. And for those of you older that like double reference points, the time before that was late May of 1989 through mid-November of 1990. So when you look back, what was big in my life? What did I aspire to get better at? What did I leave? What door closed? And although it looked really crappy at the time, how did I evolve past some karma drama? What did I evolve past what seemed to be just a collapse or a loss, or I didn't see that coming, that wasn't fair? What did you change in late 2007 through the late summer of 2009? And before that, what went on in May of 1989 through right before Thanksgiving in 1990? These are very important cycles. And our Leo cycle that's paramount right now, Jupiter in Leo, it's not been there for 12 years. So that's a subtraction that you do as well. So you look back at like 2014. So those dates right there, if you want, I'd look at what was monumental in my love life, what was orbiting around me in my family, where I lived, who was with me, who moved away, what school I left, what job I started, that 2007, 2009. Then look at the opportunities that started to come in from 2014 to 2015. Sometimes those generous opportunity cycles, the one I'm talking about that refers to right now, last time Jupiter was in Leo in 2014 forward for a year, into 2015 basically with retrogrades and directs and all that. Like right now, this Jupiter in Leo cycle, it'll run through almost half of the sign before we close out this year. It's going to move fast in Leo, and then it will retrograde back next year. But it always, even with retrograde, stays in one zodiac sign for about a year. So I'm generalizing it a little bit. So if you look back, who was with me, what left, what died, what birthed, 2014 to 2015, that specifically relates to the magnanimous expansion of Leo and Jupiter, with what Nicole and I are talking about. The nodes, this shift in the nodes that'll go forward as we open up this eclipse season, this full moon in Aquarius, and then the new moon of August 11th and 12th, with all this Leo energy, that harkens back to 2007 to 2009. And I have found in my over 4 decades of dancing with the stars, dancing with astrology and the celestial mechanics of it, I like when we can go back in time and look at, are there any kind of, although the people and the details might change, but what was the similarity of, like, I'm ready to leave that and go for this for work, or I lived there in the West, now I want to go to the East, or there's things that you'll start to see that are, and absolutely, to Nicole's point, with Pluto involved here, yeah, and the opposition with Pluto, the last time we had a full moon where the full moon and Pluto were in the same sign and opposing Jupiter was the full moon of May 1st, 1988. May 1st of 1988, and all spiraled around between 11 and 12 degrees of Scorpio Taurus. So you look back at the mid-spring, you have to get that technical, but mid-spring of 1988. So that might have been something that was really big with your parents if you're younger, rather than yourself. Like, what dynamic changes were going on within the structure of my siblings or my cousins or my parents, conquering an illness, getting into a whole new thing of life, really feeling like you'd found your niche with work. So these timelines are really important things for us to have as a reference point. Don't always take it just, I was only born in 1990. So go back into what was going on around your family dynamics at that time, or the school that you were going to, or the sibling that you were having challenges with. Look at what was the theater around you, because life's a stage, especially when we come to the strongest sign of summer, when the sun's going through Leo. It's home. It's home. And anything added to it, the South Node in Leo, the Mercury, all this stuff is added to it. And when it's added to it, we're going to be going through it with a different kind of dynamic dance. So it's a dance, but we've got to make sure, in ice skating or roller skating or soccer or the dance of things, you've got to make sure that your uniform isn't binding you, the cleats for football, the ballerina shoes, the tap, whatever the dance, it has to be to where you can actually just get your mojo going. So Leo is about, what is it that you want to go into the theater of? What is it that you feel like, this is something I'm going to make this a priority. This is going to be a legacy of my intention, my affirmations. This is the work I want to do, rather than the steps I took along the way in my youth, education, working here and there to get the car, to get my own place, the bumps and grinds I went to through relationships to really prioritize myself, still believe in love, and to be able to say, wow, I was so wrapped up into that then, and either I was abusive, or I took emotional abuse, or I settled for less than, and I wasn't revolutionary enough, Aquarius. I wasn't able to detach enough, Aquarius, to be able to say, damn it, I'm not doing this anymore. Love is more than this. If I don't think I'm more than this, I need to know that love is more than this, and love isn't abuse. So that ability to detach is Aquarius to say enough. Instead of Leo needing to win the war all the time, Leo shows up and says, you know what? I may not be enough for you. I may be too much for you, but I'm going to leave this pasture and I'm going to go over here in this other forest glen, or this other pasture, or this other seaside, because I know within my heart I'm sincere and I'm good. So if you don't have those qualities and you're running game, or you've for too long been manipulative and laughing about it and overrunning people and taking what's yours, and you had no regard for other people, were left in your dust, and the difficulty of how you had empty promises and vacuous words, that's the karma that starts to come, Nicole. That's the karma. So right now, with this full moon, and right now, with the intensity of Jupiter expanding the Leo and saying, okay, there's a real bright star here, and so we're going to light your ass up. We're going to light up what you've been doing and how you've been doing it. And if you're good and your intentions are good, it's a sweet spot. If not, yeah, the South Node in Leo is like, you're about to take a tumble off the stage there, hot shot, and you're not going to get away with it anymore. And you will see people in the media, you will see people that claim to be prophets or claim to be the best of this and the best of that. You're starting to see some of these spiritual icons and some of these religious, advocates that, the media preachers, or, I'm a prophet of God, or I'm the best one that's ever out there. That's not going to work with these opposition to Leos. Just do what you do, and you don't have to say you're the only, or you're the best, or because you've done it for 40 years or 10 years or 30 years that people ought to kiss your butt. There could be someone that's absolutely just naturally brilliant that's just been a mechanic for a year and they just have a gift. So let's not put that, don't just look at the seniority of someone. Look at, as they say, what does they say in AA, Nicole? Don't just talk the talk, you got to walk it. This is whatever we're walking is what's going to be evidence-based now. How you show up, your sincerity. We're not going to, people that like to put on these persona mask and the fake smiles and, and it's not going to work. It's going to be a big collapse. So if you're doing that, I'm telling you prophetically right now with the stars, you need to get your act and you need to clean up your act, level up and say, whether I get that prize or I get that relationship or I'm the best at the job, right now, initially, there's going to be doors closing. Eclipse cycles are the doors that need to close, the chapters that are finishing up. It's not a bad thing. It'll look odd if you are addicted to familiar or addicted to the same schedule, or they behave like this, so I'm going to trust this, and I need something I can rely on, kind of a little bit like the earth signs. I need to analyze it and predict it. It's always going to be that way at 2:00 next week. No. Things are going to be sharply adjusting, and some of those doors will slam. Although we've been in some kind of contemplative posture, I would say, since early February of this year. We've been looking at, I don't know exactly how it's going to happen, but I'm feeling like I'm not going to be here. I'm feeling like this is going to be something that's a no, and I'm moving into this. And although it's a little bit of a shaky ground, he feels right. This feels right. So we've been kind of in a 6-month cycle of feeling the ground beneath us. And even if there's a few emotional earthquakes or mental quagmires or psychological cobwebs, this right now in August of 2026, no matter what the doctor said, no matter what, this right now is, where's your anchor? It's the heart, and the heart, the third eye, and our connection to the divine. There's divine intelligence, and that's the God power. That's the I am. And then there's artificial intelligence, which is robotic in a sense. It used to be plagiarism was a big deal. Like you could not steal someone else's words or put down in your thing what someone said in a book or whatever. And AI and Meta, they actually it'll tell you, it'll say right there, checking 50 websites, checking 50 magazines, or whatever it is to come up with this data, and they compile it. But it's getting stuff that other people have written and studied and presented and had degrees on and all of that. So it is going, which can be a good thing. It's going and getting this whole broad-based spectrum, this overarching intelligence, and what is resonating, what seems to be coming back to give us a big truth on various opinions or experiences. So I would first and foremost, and this is just me, I take it into the divine intelligence first and the I am that I am. And, thank you, holy frequencies. Thank you, canopy of light and love. Thank you for being my director in the theater of life. Guide my steps, go before me. And I ask that you reveal to me in harmony anything that's nefarious, anything that could be of some type of collapsing entity or nefarious energy spirit trying to lead me off my path of the highest, best version of myself that I can be. That's the hero of Leo, is I will do the dedication. I will do the daily discipline. I will work on myself. I will confront myself in the mirror, and I will correct my own addictive behaviors, my own insecurities, so that I can be, as the divine created me, the best that I can be. And instead of faulting myself or condemning myself, like, okay, you slipped, you did a little backsliding. Now go ahead and go fix it. Go fix it. Make it right. Do it right the first time and make it right. Then the majesty of Aquarius can take place, and the heavenly frequencies and forces come forth of Aquarius, the star card in the tarot, Leo, the strength card in the tarot. So we have the beast in us, not fighting us, but being our animal medicine totem. The lion is there to defend us. The lion is there to let us know, I'm the king of beasts. I'm the king of all mammals, the lion, and I am walking beside you as the female and the lion do. And the eighth card called the strength in the tarot. And so then Aquarius is the star. She's receiving the electromagnetic, multidimensional frequencies of the heavenly dimensions, not just what's above Earth, not just the Milky Way. She's in touch. She is depicted as a female on the card. She is some kind of heavenly constellation creature. In Egyptian mythology, she's the Egyptian goddess called Nuit, N-U-I-T, and her body is made of stars. So this is our ability to plug in to the canopy and the mysteries and the legends and the histories of the stars and the guidance of the stars of all cultures, of anything that we would learn in this incarnation, and to be able to journey outside the body, 3D of what we're familiar with, and to be able to receive and be able to handle looking at the dimensions of our greatness and how multidimensionally we really are. I mean, this is a very exciting time. This full moon goes beyond like last year's Aquarian moon and the Aquarian moon before that. This is a time, but it's a time of course correction. It's a time of not shoving it under the rug anymore and stop lying to yourself. This is the time. It's like, you know what? You can keep eating too much sugar and you can keep being addicted to this or that, and just know that it's not a punishment, that the consequences are coming. It's just time that we have to show you, is this all there is? Are you going to stop here? Because life doesn't stop. It's forever and always and moving, and whatever is beginning to hold us down, limit our ability to make the real progress of our soul vision, our vision quest, and the sovereignty of our soul. That's what's opening up now. And it's really kind of hard for me to put it into words because it's so beyond just our earth life, if that makes sense, that we're really into a high spiritual frequency here. And sometimes that's sound, and sometimes that's just what you see in the sky or how the wind moves your hair, or you're standing on the mountain. It's like, my God, I can feel the oneness. It's like that. It's otherworldly. It's really otherworldly.
Mary, can you hear me now?
I can.
Oh, you
I can hear you now, but all of a sudden, I can hear you now.
Okay, you can hear me now. And I'm going to see if they can hear me on the guys. Let me just change my microphone. Okay, guys, can you, it looks like you can hear me now on the live chat. And let me just make sure they can hear you. Mary, can you speak?
Yes.
Okay,
Happy full moon.
there we go. Okay, sorry. We just have been having these crazy technical issues today. So I apologize to everyone for that just brief dead air space for you guys. Thank you, Dragon Rose, Dennis. Okay. And hello to everyone else in the Galway. And okay, great. Thank you. What I wanted to say, Mary, is there's a couple things that you brought up about this full moon that I think are super key. You said a couple things. One, you said, this is a dance with chance. And I couldn't agree with you more, because when we think about Aquarius and Uranus, and of course the full moon is happening in the sign of Aquarius. The modern ruler is Uranus in Gemini, and it's making a beautiful trine to this full moon. There is something here that where you also said, like, this is where you have to like walk the walk, right? And this is where you have to, this is where your visions, your future, what you've been seeing for yourself, the things that you've wanted for yourself. When you talk about the star card, it's like our big hopes and dreams. It's the big thing we want for. It's like kind of like our destiny in a way. This full moon is bigger than just a regular Aquarius full moon. It's so much bigger because there's so much happening here that is so rare and so auspicious that it is absolutely a time where you guys want to be dancing with chance. You want to take a chance on something that you normally wouldn't take a chance on, right? This is Aquarius. This is not being traditional. This is going way outside of what would normally be your comfort zone. And in this time, when we have a full moon where the moon and Pluto are coming together and the sun and Jupiter are coming together on the opposite side, where yes, Pluto is deeply transforming. It's intense. It wants to reveal stuff. It's a full moon, which means it's going to reveal things it's revealing things on its own. And then you add Pluto into the mix and it's like truths that cannot be ignored. Truth maybe about your future, truth about what it is that you see for yourself, right? Is really kind of coming up to be like highlighted by something in Leo, the sun, Jupiter, something very maybe optimistic, or something about perhaps your travel, something about, what's on the big horizon of what you see for yourself. Maybe it's something educational. Maybe it's something spiritual. Okay, that's kind of really coming up and merging with the sun to really shine light on this full moon in Aquarius. So wherever Aquarius is in your chart, this is where something is going to get revealed, right? There's going to be a big reveal because it's Pluto, and it's going to be definitely making a huge change. Although Aquarius is a fixed sign and so is Leo, what this really is saying to you is, can you stand behind? Can you stand tall? Can you stand firm behind what it is that you're going to step forward to in your future? Like, what is it that is so heart-based for you, Leo? What is it that your heart truly wants? Well, how can you be guided by what is true to you? Not just what Mary said earlier, too, not just about following the steps of what you think you're supposed to do or what people have told you need to do, but really stepping into a vision, a future that feels so right for you, but is coming from a place that is like your heart is so in it, right? Like it's what your heart lights up for. It brings joy to you, right? And that little inner child inside of you gets excited. It's like that wonderment. It's the excitement. It's the dance. And so this full moon is really interesting because the moon just conjuncted Pluto only hours prior to it happening, meaning there was this, and of course that it's going to happen every 28 to 30 days or so. But it just had it just had its meetup. At the same time, the sun and Jupiter had its meetup, which of course only happens once a year. But for it to happen just hours, if not minutes, before this full moon is a very, very rare thing. Now, on top of that, we have Uranus, the modern ruler in Gemini, trining this full moon. So there's a big change. There's a shakeup. There's a revelation. There's something that's going to liberate you. There's a breakthrough that's going to come through, like your new ideas, or a conversation, or you communicating something, or coming through like seeing things differently, right? Gemini is news. It's speaking up in a way that is like maybe it's about Gemini also is, we look at your neighborhood, it's your sibling, it's your cousins, it's also about these two things are also technology. But more than anything, really what you're looking at is it's time to step into the future. I can't ignore this any longer, and there's a reason for it. There's something about this full moon that has very ecliptic energy behind it. It feels very fated in some ways, not just because it is opening the portal to the eclipse season, but because the nodes just changed from Pisces Virgo into Aquarius Leo just days ago, but because we have this rare alignment too of making the sextile to Neptune, the trine to Uranus, and then this Sun Jupiter making the trine to Neptune and sextile to Uranus. So we're still kind of experience this really interesting configuration in the sky that is a turning point in your life. And I can't stress this enough. This is where you are feeling the compelling urge to step forward out of a deep need of what it is that you want from your heart, something that is going to feed your future. And I will say this before I go back to you, Mary. Guys, if any of you out there are truly ready and wanting some deep change because you are ready for a future that is completely aligned to your heart, the 3-day 180 retreat has 2 tickets left. Okay. We are 80% sold out. We have about 10 tickets and 8 are already sold. If you want one of the last 2, I highly suggest you put your application in to get to Colorado in September with me and my girlfriend, Pamela Downs, who's been on the podcast last week, to come for what will be an absolutely life-changing experience for you. You want to talk about change from the inside out? That is what we're going to be doing at the 3-day 180. And this full moon is really highlighting to you, whether it's you do want to come to this retreat or you want to go do something that's big, like it's really highlighting what you emotionally need for change to embody and step forward into the future that you've had those visions for, right? The Aquarius is the big downloads. It's hearing the big guy upstairs talking directly to you. It's the flash of light. It's the aha moments. And there's something that's really being revealed to you through this that is asking for you to be expanding from your heart, expanding also your mind, right? Expanding what you believe to be true, expanding what is possible for you, and really bringing in some optimism at the same time. So I love that, Mary, you said this idea of dance with chance, because I really believe this is a time, guys, where you want to be saying yes to the thing you've been maybe delaying, you've been hesitating on, you've been scared of. Like, this is not the time to be scared. Pluto is asking you to confront your fears and to go deep into it. It's to lean into it and say yes anyway. Jupiter in Leo, as Mary was talking about, the strength card is represented by Leo. This is where you have the courage, and Jupiter's expanding that courage for you. And it's not giving you the courage for the sake of just, blowing it up and just go do something big. It's because there's a reason behind it right now. There's a reason. There are big changes happening for us collectively. That's why Mary said this is bigger than just a full moon. It's going way beyond just Earth full moon right now. This is like galactic. There's something much bigger at play right now. And it's really important for you guys to tune into that for yourself and what your role is and how that's going to shape your life going forward. So Mary, I love that you said dance with chance, because if there's anything that you guys can take away from this full moon broadcast is remember those 3 words. Dance with chance. How can you dance with chance from this full moon? What is coming up? What is intuitively speaking to you? What are the flashes of downloads? Pay attention to it, because it's really being highlighted for you in this moment.
And let me wrap it around in a 3D human way. As we grow up, the parts of us that want to express our dominance when we're going from a 7-8-year-old going into our teenage years, and we experienced, the mean kid in the neighborhood, the one we were attracted to at junior high or high school, and how wild we go or don't. In college, the nerd versus the jester type of a thing, the Cocapelli, the trickster, the coyote medicine. Part of what's going on a human level is what is it that you got so much of a deep craving of every time you got on horseback, every time you rode as hard and as high and jumped on the motorcycle, the wind in your hair, the feeling of liberation? What made you push it? What made you put the accelerator down? And what made you want to race the car? What made you want to push the limit? What made you want to keep drinking when you were already having a good time? What was it that made you say, well, last time, every time I drink and go to cocktail hour or sit on the beach or, go camping and let myself just I just don't want to stop. I just want to keep drinking and drinking. And like, it's not just having some beers or, a nice vodka drink. Like you had to take it to the limit. Instead of saying that's right or wrong, let's look at it from a human perspective of you were attempting to get outside of your normal mind. You were attempting to get something otherworldly, unfamiliar. Like, what's that part of me? Why is that part of me so happy when I'm drunk, or so liberated when I've had my cannabis or my this or that, or when I take a psychedelic journey? Wow, I've never felt that. Some of those experiences, besides DUIs and going to jail because you did drive like a nut job, or you had a wreck on the motorcycle, God forbid, or you pushed it too much. But even in those times where it cost us more than we ever had a vision or ever thought, in our arrogance, that's the side of Leo, and we detached so much with the Aquarius factor, which is the opposite sign of Leo, that we pushed it. We pushed the limits. We took it otherworldly outside the body with how fast we were driving or how much we jumped and did stunts with the car, the motorcycle, the horse, the bull riding, going to the road, whatever it was. We pushed it and we pushed it and we took the risk. The risk taking is where we detach from common sense logic and go into the theatrics and the drama of Leo. And literally, it's life death a lot of time. Like, we don't think, hey, I'm going to go 120 miles an hour and I'm going to try. The cops got the blue lights on, but I think I've got a car that I can outrun them. So there's frivolity, there's brazenness, there's disrespect, but there's something in you that compels you. It's like a need for higher excitement, and people do have an addiction to drama or adrenaline. And it's like when their life is normal, they'll say, I'm bored. I mean, their life is peaceful. I've met clients like that over 30 years that are just like, well, I need some more excitement in my life. So I said, well, are you sick? No. You have any real big bills that are? No. Is your relationship okay? Yeah, they're really good to me. So why are you bored? So it's that sometimes I think that we as humans could choose some healthier, holistic, guided, ceremonial, or out-of-body type of experiences to where we're in a safe zone when we're going to do something that is incredibly new or unfamiliar. It's like it sucks to be the passenger on the motorcycle if the motorcycle person decides to be wild and crazy guy and you didn't sign on for that. You're just on the back of the motorcycle. If they crash the car, if they, the horse falls because it sees a snake and you're on the backside of that, you chose to be involved in the dynamic of their karma and their addiction to drama. There is addiction to high drama. So the high drama and the theatrics for the sake of an adrenaline rush, people that, they actually are, there's the other side of that. When we had the nodes for the last 18 months in Pisces, Virgo, there were a lot of health scares or challenges, and then people, breaking a bone, doing this, having a corrective surgery, and then going, oh no, and realizing that they got addicted to the opioid painkillers. Last year, there was a person that went through an experience of they needed to have medical stuff done, and the medical stuff that they did proper with the doctor, corrective surgery in the hospital, much to their surprise and mine, because I was an advocate for them. I mean, I went out to the head nurse. I said, why can't they have something for pain? Oh, well, opioids, but that particular type of gastrointestinal surgery, people that have that, heads up, if you think you got something going on with your colon or your stomach, you better study this. Any of the opioids, we can't give them those kind of painkillers that normally work because there's a constipation factor and it could reverse the whole surgery. I'm like, I need to tell this to everybody, that before you opt to have any kind of gastrointestinal or colon surgery. So that whole Pisces being hospitals, Virgo being corrective, holistic eating.
Well, and also talking about Pluto and intestines.
Yeah, absolutely. Pluto naturally rules Scorpio. So that whole, and I'm going to be a little blunt for a minute. If Pluto rules Scorpio, it's what shit are we backing up? What are we allowing to be shitty in our lives? And where are we getting constipated with other people's need for drama? And where are we allowing ourselves to be running crazy with copious diarrhea with drama in us? So Pluto in Aquarius right now is saying, you're going to have visions. Oh, you're going to be startled yourself. God will speak. Your angels will give you the message. You'll have an experience that you say, I've never experienced anything like that. If you've never seen an unidentified sky object, yeah, you will. You might see the one coming out of the ocean going, ain't nobody gonna believe me. And I wasn't even high. I saw that spaceship. And I will say to you, as I say when I went on another podcast with Jeremy Scott into the paranormal, which by the way, Nicole, I'll be on August 4th into that podcast, Into the Parabnormal with Jeremy Scott. We're going to be talking about the eclipses. So parabnormal, like with the abnormal. So because he does Sasquatch and all that kind of stuff and UFOs. When I saw the heavenly visitors that I did several times in my life, I'd say to people, I don't care whether anybody believes me or not, because to me, if it's called, and it used to be, an unidentified flying object, I don't know if it's our military or around Russia's military or a secret craft that we had. Number one, I'm not on a need-to-know basis. Number two, let's feel it. Let's discern it. When I went out in the 90s and saw the Phoenix Lights, when I was out there in the canyon with a Reiki master doing UFO tours besides my Native American teachings, I know when that guide said, think that you are ready to see your starry tribe, your brothers and sisters of other dimensions, see if anything happens. And I'm out there with 6 people in the middle of some kind of canyon. We had to get there by a van to get there. And all of a sudden, I didn't say anything to anybody. And I thought it, and here came 5 lights, 5 to 6 lights, zigzagging, going backwards and forwards. And I'm like, okay, even if that was our military, I literally just called for it in my mind. When you have those kind of Pluto, Aquarius type of the people that saw the Phoenix Lights, the people that went out and go out there to have those experiences as Area 51 or all over Sedona and Phoenix and all that stuff. The West has the cowboy sky. The West has a lot of anomalous things that happened with unusual heavenly visitors or lights, whoever it is or whatever it is. When you get that experience and it's in sync and your soul discernment, your spiritual discernment says that's not demonic, that's something that somehow I'm shifted because of that, it's multi-dimensional. It's like, okay, I saw it, so I know what I saw. I know how much it trembled me, how much I felt vibrationally different. So no, I don't have all the answers. I know what I saw. I know what I felt, and it altered me. Kind of like when Nicole was talking about when you're really ready and you choose to go to a seminar, to a ceremony, to a 3-day retreat. I've done many of these things. When you actually put boots on the ground, spend the money, and go, you have committed yourself to a multi-dimensional ride. So, yeah, I was with the Reiki master. After that, I went back in 2005 and completed my Reiki mastership. So how that touched me in the early 90s, changed me to go and follow through even with Reiki so I could work with wild animals more and my dogs and cats that I've rescued. So that in the 90s propelled me to work with 3 Reiki masters and get that course completed under my belt. I don't need to hang my shingle out about that or say, well, I'm the world's best Reiki master. No, it was a skill set. And we get these skill sets based off these life triggers and these door openings that you didn't even know was going to happen. You're just like, oh, I want to go to Sedona. I want to go to Phoenix. Yeah, why not? Let's go on a UFO excursion. I had no expectations. Some people would. I didn't. It's just like, yeah, what's out there? I haven't been out here. Let's go see. So when I was out there mainly for the Native American training, and then the UFO thing came into it. Then I spent years with MUFON, met all these people that are famous now, Linda Moulton Howe, and all these different people back in the 90s. And it gives you, when you do these retreats, when you do these ceremonies, you're stepping out of time. Aquarius, you're stepping out of routine. Pluto, you're honest. You're stepping out of your familiar comfort zone. And it doesn't have to be alcohol-based or, getting absolutely drugged out that you're just having willy-nilly random hallucinations just for the sake of, it's a party. you're putting a purpose to it. You're beginning to say, okay, if I get altered, I'd like to have some experienced guides, and I'd like to have some guidance with this and feel safe doing this and be able to let this be more of a psychologically safe spiritual excursion that hits me on different levels. And it wasn't just another party, and it wasn't just another rave, and it wasn't just another concert. I went with the intention of, where am I? What does my soul want? How does my current adult self want to incorporate my inner child, Leo? And how may we all work together for the purpose of my life, however long I get to live here on earth? What about my actual sovereignty? I was fashioned and created, and spirit breathed life into me. I promise you, it's so much more than the money you earn, the people that you sleep with, and where you go every day with your car or whatever it is to work. I mean, it's so much more than that. Those things can be incorporated into it in the earth sense of like, this is how I put shelter over me, and these are the people I love. But then your soul, I really feel this full moon in Aquarius as a reminder as we go into this eclipse cycle and these nodal changes of the North Node being in Aquarius. This is about us being reminded that we came here as spirit. We slipped on skin, and we're walking this world but for a while. And so this is, the Aquarius is the collective consciousness. Aquarius is the unification for all creatures being at peace. It's not just God bless them, the people in war zones. It's the animals and the trees burning and nature and bridges being blown up and the creative architecture of man all over the world. It's like, let's go bomb it. You know, so I'm not privy to all the reasons of who's evil and who wants to kill us and who isn't. I just want to pray for peace. I just want to cut to the chase and pray for peace and protect our beautiful planet. And that anyone that just wants to kill somebody for what they believe or what color they are, I'd like that to be rebuked. It's like, I'd like to see them put in some kind of lockdown by source, by spirit, and that their soul may rise and that they may have epiphanies instead of eruptions emotionally in their life. And I feel as light workers, as students of love and life, we need to get in that Aquarian vision. What about if all of us once a day did the Aquarian thing of like, I accept and allow peace upon our beautiful home planet of Mother Earth, our biological mother. I pray for peace. I set intentions for peace and harmony and safety for all the good creatures and living substances on this planet. I mean, it would take us like less than a minute to set an intention for that. We've got to stop just looking at our own world, Leo, and our own wants, Leo, and our own willpower and ego, Leo, and we've got to bring the heroes that we all are, winged lions. We need to take that chutzpah and that courage of the heart chakra and the light of love and just see that. Close your eyes and just see golden light and the violet flame all around our galaxy, our planet, and call for the good to be resurrected in every single living creature of any type on this planet. That's Aquarius. That's Aquarius. Aquarius is like, we are multidimensional biochemical agents of incredible power, and the news and politics and religion seeks to divide and separate. Divided we fall, united we stand. So it isn't about just the United States. It's about united in light. And whether someone purports to be, I'm a prophet of God, and I tell you better do what I say, or the demons are going to get, no, how are you doing with it? How are you living your life? Do you even understand or practice strengthening your intuitive discernment? Well, to do that, get the best of Leo and the best of Aquarius. When you feel, no matter what, you might just be vacuuming the carpet or washing your car, but if you feel the presence of spirit and all of a sudden you're getting a vision or a contemplative moment where you go, well, this isn't just my mind. This is something coming through. Wow, I never looked at it like that before. There is another perspective possibility here. That's your passion to purpose, as we've talked about before, Nicole and I. We work a lot with the passion of your purpose. Like, don't just say, well, I have a purpose, and then just put it on the shelf. Leo's, the fixed signs are working. And I'll give you another reminder. When we had the reverse of these nodes, when we had the great American eclipse around August the 20th, 21st of 2017, when everybody was coming in because it was coming across America in 2017. And then 8 years later, I think it went up a little bit higher. It was forming the big X. We had a 29-degree Leo solar eclipse that hadn't happened for 99 years in 2017. Harken back to there, because that was just the 180 degrees. That was when the North Node was in Leo. Now the North Node is in its opposite sign of Aquarius, and it's saying, and how are you rising above it? Are you willing to rise above all the things, people, places, things, all the things that made you bitter, so that you can change one letter in that word bitter and put an E where there's an I? Stop letting it make you bitter. That's psychic energy controlling you, and let it make you better. That's the higher part of Leo and Aquarius. You don't give your power away to people that didn't treat you fair or betrayed you. That's on them. That's their karma. You learned from it, move forward, and stop carrying that psychic baggage forward with you, because it's heavy. It's
Mary,
heavy.
You're just full of little good clips right now. Okay. I love that.
You,
don't be bitter, be better. Guys, that is like another key takeaway for this full moon, because you do not want to play victim right now. Do not allow, that's Uranus and Gemini right now, is liberating everyone from their victim mentality. Okay. Because that is not where you want to be when you want to step into your future. You can look around and you can say, well, it's easier for everyone else, and they didn't have this happen to them in their childhood, and they don't have this financial problem, or they don't have this ex constantly, whatever. Like you can come up with 1,000 different reasons of why you can't, and it really can stem from bitterness. But don't be better. Just be better. And that is such a key element of this full moon in Aquarius, because it's truly Pluto on this moon is really asking you to purge the fear, purge the psychological limitations that you have, purge what it is that you've been avoiding when it comes to your future, what it is that you want for yourself, the things that you are ready to break free from, the things that you need to maybe perhaps innovate for yourself. Maybe you have to innovate something in your life, innovate yourself. Something's coming up here, but have the courage. Let Jupiter and the sun in Leo expand your courage, expand your heart to inject enough drive and will into your future from this sense of, I have a purpose. I'm here for a reason. God has a plan for me, and maybe you don't know the full plan. It's okay. Guys, I can't stress this enough to you. Right now, you are not meant to have the full plan. You are barely meant to have very little of the plan. It is about, how do you step forward into the future despite not knowing what's ahead of you? Because none of us are going to know what's ahead of us. Everything is about unpredictability right now. You cannot predict what is ahead of you. None of us can. We are in a time that has never happened before astrologically, right? This is something that has never happened, that we can look back as far as thousands and thousands and thousands of years, thousands, maybe many more than thousands, but it's a time that is not predictable. We don't have something in our past history to go on this moment in time right now. So this is why it's such a rare time. So you cannot expect to have a plan, if any little bits of a plan, other than you have to trust in yourself to step forward and know that as you step into the future, a little bit more is going to be revealed to you, and trust that what you need will be revealed to you as you trust yourself enough to take that step forward. And it's all that matters. That's all you need. Guys, I cannot tell you how important it is right now to take a chance, to take a little bit of a risk. Not like when Mary was talking about before, this isn't about for the sake of adrenaline. This isn't for the sake of just, coloring outside of the lines and doing something crazy. That's not what this is about. It's about taking a chance because the energies are so perfectly aligned for stuff to work out. Now, does that mean it's going to work out immediately? No, not necessarily. And does it mean it's going to work out in the way that you think it will? No, probably not. But it will likely open up pathways, open up opportunities, open up doorways for you in ways you could not predict. And it will always be better than what you had anticipated. That's the kind of energy that we're moving into right now. So embracing it is so important. So right now, Pluto with the moon is really asking you to get very, very honest with yourself. Be very, very truthful about what it is that your future needs from you. What does your future need from you to do right now, to embrace, to embody, to say, you know what, I am scared shitless and I have no idea how this is going to work out, but I'm going to at least take a chance because it's got to be better than staying exactly where I have been staying for weeks, months, years, and some of you decades. You do not want to stay the same. This is where a world of hurt is likely your next, destination if all you do is more of the same. And that's where we're at with this full moon. And, speaking of that, before we kind of go into all signs, and I want to give you a chance also to kind of wrap up this full moon, but I also think it's important to understand the North Node is now in Aquarius. It just moved here a couple of days ago. Okay, so now where you're wanting to lean into is everything Aquarian. Okay, meaning it's time to break free. It's time to liberate yourself. It's time to do things outside of the box. It's time to not be traditional. And whatever tradition means for you in your life, the things that you are used to, the things that are normal, this is where you need to kind of start coloring outside of those lines. This is where you have to get revolutionary. This is where you have to perhaps go on the lightning bolts ideas that come to you out of nowhere, right? This isn't about, oh, it's so well thought out. I have all of the plan in front of me. I've been thinking about this for years now. Now I'm ready. No, this is where it comes from sparks of divine enlightenment. That is all Aquarian, and that's what you want to be leaning into because that's where the destiny is kind of pushing us. That's where the energy is pushing us. That's where you're going to expand because the North Node is what's wanting you to grow, learn from, expand, explore, and get familiar with because it's new to you, right? Whereas the South Node in Leo is saying, hey, yes, for some of you, it's time to release some things, but also Leo, the South Node might be a return to some things. Like maybe, and I was talking about some clients with this in the readings because another thing, book a reading with Mary right now, definitely something you want to do. But also I am closing up my books for my intuitive readings at the end of this month. So you've got a few days left to get in a reading with me, which I only do twice a year. This is a time where the South Node in Leo is saying, hey, remember when you had all that joy and then you just shelved it just to kind of do the thing because it was what everyone else wanted you to do or it looked like the right plan on paper? This could be a return to something that you did find joy in, but you forgot about, and now it's saying, hey, get back to that. So it's not just about clearing out, letting go of things that don't work for you. It can sometimes also be a return to the things you've forgotten that you need to reconnect with. And it's a return to some things that are important in that way, that from your past, they had meaning. So Mary, do you want to kind of, in your words, also explain the importance of the nodal shift, its impact on this full moon, and then I'll let you wrap up the full moon before we go into the all signs?
Thank you. A couple of visions came to mind with my guides. I said, give me a couple of more portraits, psychic portraits to be able to, because, one listener will grasp on to, yeah, I ride motorcycles wild. Another one's like, yeah, I went to the rave parties and got drunk all the time. So, yeah, I went in jail. A couple of pictures they gave me, they said, we foreclose on our future when we let the bitterness take priority. And the other vision they gave me, so don't foreclose on your future. The other vision they gave me was, this is where someone that no matter what structure of religion they may have gotten from their culture, from their family, this is that point where one says, I want to be baptized. Like some religions, they baptize the baby right away with the holy water. Other religions, they let the child, like in the Baptist religion, I can speak on that one, the grandparents and all would say, you'll feel the Holy Ghost when you're in church, and it's right. You go down there and you do a public demonstration that you're ready to, quote, be saved. And so you're going to go into a baptism. You want to go be baptized. So this is, but there's another dimension to that. It's what puts you on your knees. Hopefully not tragedy. What lets you go to your knees and say, I don't have it figured out. I absolutely thought I could control it, and I can't. And like when they say someone, well, you can't stop a drunk, or you can't stop a prescription addict, or someone, they have to do it themselves. And AA will often say, no matter who collapses around them that loves them and wants them to go get help as an addict, until they lose everything, until they hit, quote, a chaotic crisis point, until they see it, other people telling them they didn't want to do it because they're lying to themselves that they have an addiction problem. So I would form it into, this is like the baptism cycle. You don't know. You're told these different things that will happen if you surrender to the divine in baptism. But I kind of see this as two things. I see this as both the baptism and the rising up, the resurrection. I mean, it's that intense. It's like, okay, I'm going to move into this faith, and it's not my job to go convince everybody else just because I'm going into this. I don't have to go do a promo or a marketing campaign. I need to test this for myself. And whatever you accept to be your spiritual bylaws, you need to see it working for you. You need not just to take mom and dad and the society or the ethnicity that you grew up in. You need to see, to be true to yourself. You need to see, yes, this shifted my life. I did this thing that had a whole bunch of promises around it. And after I was baptized, I saw that I did resurrect from some very self-defeating habits. It's also the Leo Aquarius thing is also you being both the parent and the child to yourself. So not just your parents say, why do you have to drink so much? Or why do you have to go drink and drive? Or why did you steal that? Why did you think shoplifting was going to work out? I get the devil may care by attitude. Notice I said devil may, devil dare, devil dare you. You at some point you have to understand the frequencies that you're dipping your toe into the water of. And so it has a lot to do with the epiphany effect of like, I tested the limits over there, but rather than your dad or your mom saying, I do not want you to drink and drive, you then become the parent to your inner child. And if you were the parent of the child, would you say to your 15-year-old, yeah, steal the car, go drink, have a good time with your friends, So you have to be both the parent and the child right now. Leo being the innocent child, the daredevil child type of a thing, and Aquarius being your elders, your grandparents, the best of what your grandparents imparted to your parents, and who was missing in that equation. The responsibility is now upon ourselves, regardless of our age. Would that be, you can ask yourself, would I grant permission if I had a child, would I tell my child it was okay to shoplift? It was okay. And some parents do, we see it in culture. There's no boundaries and all that. Aquarius and Leo, you bet your ass some boundaries are coming, but the boundaries are karmic. The boundaries are how spirit answers you and says, on the wheel of fate, on the wheel of fortune, because also the wheel of fortune card, the 10th card of the tarot comes about as the wheel of choice spins. As you make a choice with whatever wheel you're spinning, the wheels of your mind, all these Gemini things, Uranus and Gemini, they're getting along with each other. Uranus and Gemini is getting along with Pluto and Aquarius, and the Saturn and Neptune and Aries, even though they're retrograde, yeah, they're all kind of getting along with each other because they're all air fire. But that can also be risk-taking just for the sake of thrill-seeking, which is why I mentioned the adrenaline factor of Aries. I think I can get away with it. Why not? I've never done this before. I'm gonna trip the light fantastic. I'm gonna overdo it. I'm gonna take eight forms of astrology. I've known it. I've watched these cycles before. So Saturn was in Aries 29 years ago, and Venus is getting ready to go into her power sign of Libra mid-August. She's going to be in opposition to that. Mercury and the Sun are going to join real close to the 14th, 15th of August. So Mercury and the Sun will be caziming. So the magnanimous factor, the go big or go home factor is really here. You want to be on the right side of that energy, so it isn't the accident or it isn't the fallout that happens because you weren't at the right place, right time, and your spirit warned you. And your guides warned you. Don't call it the dolphin when you hear this psychic thing of, it's like, I think I'll go do this. I'm bored. I think, I'm angry. I'm going to act out. This week right here, going into the eclipse period of like the 11th, 12th, 13th of August, there's a lot of overreactivity possible. So there's two things. Number one, you have the responsibility of monitoring your own emotional eruptions. And number two, please be aware that the people around you that you think you know so well, there's a lot of intensity, amplification of energy going on. Like people are like pressure cookers. They're like, boom, and the other picture that they gave me before we go into the signs is when you have a fruit tree or grapes on the vine, blueberry bushes, peaches, pears, oranges, if you're in the orange growing, when the fruit ripens, it's either going to rot and fall off the tree. There's a time where you pick it when it's at its best, juiciest, most bioflavonoid. That's right now. Right now is the time where the fruit has ripened and said, I'm right here in front of you. I'm ripe fruit. Will you taste this? Will you understand that there's a responsibility? You planted the tree, you planted the bush. Are you just going to ignore it? It's okay if you want to feed the birds, but you planted the blueberry bush, you planted, the grapevine, the oranges. What are you going to do? The weather's cooperated, Mother Nature has let you have a good crop. What are you going to do with it? And if it falls, there'll be nature that eats it. But if you, the caretaker of the fruit, bush, or tree, want to experience that food of Mother Nature, did you ignore it? Did you respect it? Did you water it? Did you put good dirt on it? Eggshells, coffee grounds, whatever you want to do holistically. But there's a point where the fruit says, thank you. I'm your reward. I will nourish you. Thank you for planting me here. I'm giving you back the gift of my DNA. So as wild as it can be with drama and adrenaline and risk-taking and rut-row, chaotic experiences, because people are going to trip the light fantastic anyway, I also want to remind you that if you avoid the temptation of just acting psychotic or letting your temper go unhinged and wanting to be right. The worst part of Aries energy is that I'm right and everybody else sucks and I'm going to go prove it to you and go into being a rageaholic. That's out there. So this is not the time to necessarily tailgate someone, flip somebody off in traffic, or you ask, not because you're a coward, but because you're going to use discernment, and people are wound up and they're like the champagne bottle has been shaken up. And instead of just popping the cork, it's going to blow. It's all over the place. So that whole explosive thing you're seeing going on in the world with missiles and bombs, and that's going on with a lot of people right now. So I would not deliberately want to poke the tiger in the cage. Choose your battles very wisely. Watch what you're declaring with your words, with Uranus and Gemini. Mercury's very strong. This is like, be more aware of the words that you use, the strategies that you're implementing, and you either do it or you don't. Be respectful, be mindful that not everybody is thinking like you, not everybody has the same circumstances going on, whether you have an illness or a difficult medical report and you're kind of keeping it to yourself. People don't know that out there, but you could be a stick of dynamite right now yourself. So go easy on yourself and be mindful of other humans on this planet. And if you need to step back out of active society and take some soulful moments, or go do a meditation, light a candle at a church, sleep a little more than you normally do, I'm telling you, you need those kind of self-nurturing dynamics to physician heal thyself right now. You're not making it up at all, that it's a very intense time, and it can either go really, really well, or it can go off the charts crisis point. And I would not be doing you a service I'm not doing fear porn. I would not be doing service as an astrologer, as an intuitive, even though, yeah, the Aries and the Leos getting along and the Aquarius gets along with that. There is an amping up ever since this whole 4-degree to 6-degree alignment of Vargo's basket that everybody's been talking about. These are amplified energies. Like, you don't need to jump in the pool when there's a lightning storm. They tell you to get off the golf course for a reason. It's like that. There's a lot of enlightenment out there, and there's a lot of brains and minds that simply aren't ready to get hit with that kind of intensity with the vision, or psychically, or psychedelics, or whatever, if they're just still determined to get high for the sake of getting high. This is a risky cycle, and it's also a good cycle to take the risk for self-improvement. Notice what I said: dancing with chance, stepping forward on your knees to take the risk to do a deliberate best, better version of myself excursion of some kind, the reading, the retreat, the camping, the going out alone, that type of a thing, like getting back from the people that just want to have high adrenaline all the time. How are you doing when you're alone with yourself? And how are you doing in connecting with sacred source or spirit? I would be checking in on that a little bit, because even though your mind may be racing, you really need to have some soul-soothing psyche exercises right now to keep you centered. I absolutely have to say that, because this is a full moon eclipse cycle of how balanced are you really. I just talked to a Leo the other day, and they said to me, they said they had Bell's palsy, and they're not that old. They had Bell's palsy and their face was all swollen. I said, oh, I just thought you went to the dentist or something, being respectful of them. They said, no. And I just looked at them and said, have you been stressed out lately? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. A lot of personal stuff going on. I said, have you had a hard time being able to speak your mind because the mouth was stressed? Those of you that aren't familiar with Bell's palsy, it's usually temporary, but, they'll give you shots, steroids, things like that. And then this person said, yeah, it's been a really intense time. And I had this before 10 years ago. I just looked at him and I said, maybe kind of connect the dots back to then about what you were embroiled with, what was on fire inside of you at that time. And it was a Leo. So if you'll notice, celebrities or well-known people that have strong placements in Leo and Aquarius, they are in a karmic spotlight right now. That doesn't mean bad things are going to happen to you. It means the gates are opening for you to go this way and walk out of the doors that are not serving your higher self, your higher good. And you know that. This is nothing Nicole and I are telling you that's new. We may be confirming it. But you already know if something is draining your energy and you're accepting less. That's the big thing of this.
Sorry, Mary, my microphone was just muted. But
Okay.
I think that's very, very well said. And we all in the live chat enjoyed you bringing up food again with fruit and ripening. Because I think that's, like when you said that this is a time where the fruit is ripest. And the reason why I just loving everything you're putting down today, Mary. The reason why that's so key to highlight is because sometimes we just think opportunities are just on this constant merry-go-round and, but timing can be everything. And when you take a risk or you pick the right time to do something, it can truly amplify the results. And if you want to have the best tasting experience, yeah, you want to eat that strawberry or that apple or that banana at its most ripest moment. And of course, that doesn't mean we have to worry about trying to get the perfect moment and it's always got to be at the perfect time. But what she's saying is that if you want to start taking a chance right now, this is a very ripe time to do it. And exactly like what you said, Mary, this doesn't mean that there isn't necessarily going to be fallout. I think it's important to also say that sometimes there is some fallout in order to get you to that ripe moment. And we sometimes get scared of those moments, not realizing that they're absolutely critical and necessary to open up the next doorway. Like, you don't get to pass go without actually having that event happen. So, don't be so scared about some of these things that come in. And I know that's easy to say from my chair right now. But I will say, as someone who just went through one of the toughest years of my life, it challenged me. It put me to my knees. I really, several times, that I can say I finally reached the point. And of course, this has been a building moment throughout the year. It's been getting better and things have been definitely improving. But getting to this point now where this just been a massive, massive turnaround of things where, in a moment, yes, things can go to shit and they can all fall apart, right? We've all been there. And at the same time, they can all come together and have the most amazing things happen all at once. So know that both are true. Both can happen. And, sometimes you have to go through those points where you do have to hit the lower moments in order to get to the highs, not because you've just got to go through it, but because it's reshaping you, it's preparing you, it's strengthening you. It's making sure that you are in the ripest period of your life to take on what life is ready to gift you with. So
100%.
with this Aquarius full moon, I think it's important to understand we are in very ripe energies. So if you've been thinking about pulling the trigger on something and you've known that it's where you should be going, but you've maybe been avoiding it, it might be the time. This might be the time to do it. So with that being said, Mary.
Yeah, we'll go into the timing of the signs, but let me say this. There's a colleague of mine that I've met on social media that listens to their podcast and been on other podcasts. Her name's Lisa Allen, and she defines her astrological studies and work as divine timing. And that's what Nicole and I are wanting to stress, no matter what else we've said, as far as the celestial mechanics. And the reason people like to study astrology in the first place is to improve their character, understand their strengths and their challenges, and then the divine timing of as the planets continue to move. How's the next 6 months look? What's my strongest full moon of this year? Where's Saturn in my chart? So it's the divine timing because the planets repeat their cycles. This cycle is the epitome of divine timing. This is the timing that the divine is wanting to interact with you in your life, regardless of what sign you are, but especially so in the houses of Aquarius and Leo that are directly opposite each other. So you don't have to be a Leo or a Leo moon or an Aquarius moon or Leo Aquarius rising. That just makes it stronger. But whatever planets you have in Leo Aquarius, whatever houses that Leo and Aquarius activate in your chart, that's the spotlight that the quote divine timing of the stars is saying, we're putting you on notice. Here's your headlines. Here's the news stories. This is the areas of activation. So then you can go online or you can look in your books at what the different 12 houses mean and learn and study what house you have Leo on. Exactly opposite of that will be the Aquarius. And we'll help you with that right now. So if you're an Aries, then this Aquarius energy, right now we're talking about the full moon, but this Aquarius energy, if you're an Aries, is hitting the 11th and the 5th house. Now, why did I say that? Because Aquarius is actually lighting up the 11th house for Aries people, but if it's lighting up the 11th house, then Leo is lighting up the opposite of the 11th house, which is the 5th house. So it's bringing a culmination from 2007, 2009, Jupiter in Leo, 2014. It's the sun joining with Jupiter in Leo is blessing you, Aries, with some confidence and some opportunities through hobbies, through romance, through self-expression, because you got Saturn and Neptune in Aries as well. So recognition and inspiration for your talents is now possible. That's what's expanding with Jupiter favoring you in the fire sign of Leo. So this full moon, this micro moon, and Aquarius is reminding you, Aries, to surround yourself. Your life force is your strongest currency. So you need to value who you let take your time and how you spend. Notice I'm using financial words. Where are you investing or spending your time? And are you draining yourself just playing video games when you could be doing some journaling and some outlining? Not obsessively, not every day, but if you're going to spend hours gaming, limit that. I'm going to play 2 hours of my video games, and then I'm going to take another hour and I'm going to do an outline or a promo or a marketing or a vision board, or however you want to do that, do a meditation on how I want to up level my creative talents and what I bring to the world and what I can express and where I feel like I'm gifted. Because that's what it's doing. It lets you, Aries, celebrate the energetic signature of achievements while you're making room in your life for meaningful connections, because meaningful connections happen with the 5th and the 11th houses and the Aquarius Leo dynamic that's happening right now for you, Aries. So I'm telling you something you don't have to go study. If you're an Aries, study the 11th Aquarius and study the 5th house. If you're Taurus, this is hitting in Taurus, it's the 10th house. So I often call the 10th and its polarity, its opposite house, the 4th, the top of the cross and the very foundation of the cross. So the 10th house is where we are resurrected, where we are no longer held on a cross, bound, tethered by our work or our responsibilities. Like we come home every day, we get up every day, and it's the same routine of I got to go to work and I got to make this and this is due and the power bill and all that. So Taurus is always acutely aware of the investment of my time. I want to up level that because I don't want to work just to pay my bills and just to occasionally do something of a vacation or a nice makeover, massage, mani-pedi, my hair, whatever the things that we want to do that make us feel good about ourselves and level us up. So for Taurus, these Aquarius Leo energies are hitting the 10th Aquarius and the 4th Leo houses. This is life-changing. This is changes that you're going to make in the foundational structure of your life. And for Taurus, Saturn and Neptune in Aries is like in the embryonic, in the womb energies for those of you that have strong Taurus in your chart. So you're having a new lease on life. There's a rebirth. For some Tauruses, it'll not only be a relocation or a relationship shift, there could be something, a pregnancy of some kind, the birth possibility, a birth of a new business, the birth of a child, the birth of really seeing the vision come true. Like, I didn't even know I could dance like that. Or, wow, I'm taking up art and I love it. I'm painting furniture and I love it. So there's some type of subdued, it's been in the background for a long time, minimum 14 years for Taurus. And something's because of them getting some things settled and at peace in their world, because Taurus, like the sign of Cancer, wants to have a secure routine of some type. And so what's happening is this energy of Aquarius and Leo, because the 4 fixed signs are Taurus and its opposite Scorpio, Aquarius and its opposite Leo. So those 4 signs right now, of all the 12, are most affected by these Leo Aquarius nodes and full moons and eclipses. And so for Taurus right now, they're getting recognition because of due diligence, staying the course, knowing that, yes, my professional responsibilities demand attention. My recognition will come through steady, applied efforts rather than just, oh, I'll do it this weekend and the hell with it, I'll procrastinate. That doesn't work for the Taurus energy. So Taurus right now, it's like in a washer when you're washing clothes. The spin cycle, when we have the spin cycle, that's like the most intense cycle in the wash cycle. And if we get it off balance, it bang, 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 and then it puts up the UR code. So right now there's a spin cycle that's going on. And so the old areas that needed to be washed and cleansed, and sometimes we had a little borax, 20-miltine borax in there to get that comforter extra clean if the animals have laid on. So Tauruses have been going through a spin cycle, and in that, some people have spun out and spun away. The people that lied about an addiction, the people that were betraying a trust over the last 14 years, like literally just like playing the Taurus male or female for like, oh yeah, I didn't tell you the truth, mom. Oh, well, and still never owning it. So, and also Taurus are also reflecting on their parents and what skill sets they got from their parents and how they also need to just take that, but also become more of their own person. Like I don't have to be the child that shrinks just because my parents might not have wanted me to do it this way and thinks the tradition ought to step in over here with religion or culture or race or whatever. Taurus, which normally goes along with the family cultural iconic beliefs, Taurus right now is embracing the Aquarius energy and going, you know what? I'm always so predictable. I do really good with routine. I like the steady, predictable part of it. I'm patient with other people. I'm a great guide and counselor and all that. But you know what? I feel like it's gotten too predictable for me. And how can I teach if I don't also remain the ever effervescent student? That's where Taurus is. So if you're Gemini, the Aquarius part of it is hitting your 9th house. Visions, spiritual connections, also fear, facing fears, because Gemini is the mind. What's on a repetitive loop in your mind? What memories are coming back that you feel like you haven't quite forgiven yourself or understood? Because it's a 9th house, 3rd house dynamic. The Leo is the 3rd house, the Aquarius is the 9th house. And this is education that can help you. You can cut to the chase and go study these houses and what they mean on the internet. Oh, I'm a Gemini, so I just need to go study the 9th and the 3rd house. That's my Aquarius Leo recipe. Yeah, duh, I'm doing it for you. So take heed, take heart. The Sun and Jupiter in Leo are enlightening your 3rd house. So it has to do with how you say what you say. Maybe you don't need to say it with such sarcasm, or maybe your words incite. Do you need a reaction so bad? We talked about the child doing something that gets negative attention, but at least they still got attention, the weaker part of Leo. I've known a lot of Geminis that just let something just like a knife come off their tongue to their partner or to a child, and it's just like, whoa, what? And yet they can be around other people after they just dealt that sharp-edged tongue that, you know, that they can either be silver-tongued or they can be very caustic, sharp, you know, words that cut somebody down or cut to the quick kind of a thing. So you Geminis are going to be held accountable for that now. You think that you can just say something and people will walk past it, or an hour later, because you're in a better mood, they should just erase that whole thing. No. Words have power. They're an energy signature. And if you go into the Bible in Job somewhere, I can't tell you where, the definition of the most unruly member of the body in the Bible is the tongue. So how you declare it, how you add your life force breath and your words and your energy and just kidding, after you say something really crappy, yeah, it's not going to work anymore, Gemini. There will be repercussions. There will be people that say, you know what? Bye. You get to have it your way. Bye-bye now. Bye, Felicia. See ya. I'm going. So I would put myself in check very quickly over the next 6 months as these eclipses open up the next 6 months in our lives, Gemini. That whole 9th house, you know, Geminis often like to travel or do a lot of online things or take something new to study or teach something new because they want to escape the day-to-day, which is the 3rd house, our neighborhood, our neighbors, where we choose to reside, events that go on in our community. 9th house has to do with where we deal with legal things, contractual things, and how we can be inspired, or we will inspire. So the 9th house is that all that's stimulated right now. So Gemini, be careful about your legal contractual things. It isn't always just because you've got it in writing that you're automatically secure in something, because you can have something in writing from a business and they just go bankrupt and they don't have to pay you crap. So be aware of words, the power of words, what you sign, how you say what you say. I'm feeling psychically is the most important thing. So be motivating, be inspirational. Don't lie. Don't false falsely puff somebody up. Give the sincere compliment. Notice something that someone does really well. And then if you want to give constructive criticism, like, I really do wish you, to the teenager, I really do wish you would go clean up your room. There's something about decluttering. There's something about cleaning it that I feel like would be a win-win for the both of us. Start there. If you are a Cancerian and Cancer Moonchild is strong in your chart, for Cancer, Aquarius hits the 8th house. It's psychic, it's otherworldly, it's mysterious. You're thinking about the next chapter of your life, what needs to die in your life, what needs to be buried. Baptism, resurrection, absolutely for the sign of Cancer. And what holds value in your life? The 8th house, Aquarius for you, Cancer, is opposite the 2nd house, which is what you prioritize as worth it, valuable, and your financial priorities and investments. So right now, Cancerians want to be investing their time, their talents, their energy, their loyalty into that which is spiritually empowering, psychologically clearing and cleansing. There's a baptism there for Cancerians. It's a baptism of, I wash myself in the river of that which held me down in my past. I allow myself to be cleared and cleansed by the forces of light because the other isn't going to drain me anymore. So it's a real baptism and releasing for those of you that are strong in the sign of Cancer. And so the income, the shared resources, taxes, loans, investments reach a type of contractual conclusion, like who you want to merge with. Nicole talked about purging. There's also merging. When we purge something, then we're also ready. We open up more memory in our phones. We open, our storage isn't full anymore. We're able to not be paying a storage bill every month because it's stuff that we've put into storage that we're paying every month and we're not even using it. We just somehow feel that we're more secure because it's in storage, or we're filling up our closets. Well, pass that along and allow other people to be inspired and blessed by your giving and your gifting of it to the thrift store or the animal organization or whatever it is. Coats coming into winter for children and people in need. Go ahead and go through your closets. I promise you, there's really good bargains that come to you when you give up your clutter and you've blessed somebody else. It's amazing. I've done it all my life. It's amazing what good bargains you'll get and what pathways open up for psychic financial blessings because you had it for a while and you kept it in good shape and you passed that coat, that purse, those shoes, those books along to somebody else to help uplift them. If you're Leo, first, happy birthday. 2026 for a Leo of any age is monumental. This is a hallmark, life-altering year. Leo, I want it to be for the best of you and not bring out the worst of you, because there's nothing like a Leo that's gone awry, a Leo that's gone off the chain. It truly is beyond a Yeti, a Sasquatch, Tasmanian devil. I mean, it's a force to be reckoned with because they're at war with themselves first, and everything and anything is game on. So for Leo, this full moon, micromoon in Aquarius, is your 7th house. So all Leos right now are put on notice to look at any SO, any significant other, your neighbor, closest family member, the love, romantic interest in your life. If there's a vacancy there, it's going to be leveling up. And maybe you need to look at yourself and what you're blocking, where you're blocked, and how you keep repeating the patterns. You may be caught up in some loops of like, yeah, I know I have an anger management problem. Yeah, I know I drink too much, but I'll just go find another woman. I can buy myself some time. I can probably get at least 6 months out of that woman. I can get her to move in. And then when my drinking gets too much again and she catches me lying about it, it'll blow up. But I'll get online again on Tinder or whatever, and I'll get somebody else. Yeah, well, so there's Leos that are going to go downhill by not facing those patterns and those destructive loops. And there's the Leos that will finally get out of that cage. So it's your 1st and 7th houses. So when you come to that eclipse in August, it's in your sign. Jupiter's in your sign this year. If you're ever going to do it, it's been 12 years, Leo, since you've had Jupiter, the most favorable astrological planetary energy, the great Greek god Zeus, Jupiter, Thor, is helping you to overcome the things that have had a leash on you. You know you're leashed. Leo, you know you've got an anger problem. You know you've been lying. You know you've got the too much liquor, the wine, you sneak at night. You know that you can be your own worst enemy to your health and wellness. So for Leo, it's about stop arguing with it. And I want to. I'm going to do what I want to do whenever I want to do it, and say, why don't I want to implement better eating habits? And why do I choose to lie instead of just saying, hey, I just want to let you know right off the bat, I've had a battle with alcohol, I've had a battle with prescription drugs. So if you want to get to know me right at the start, before anything gets romantic or intimate, I'm going to let you know I kind of got this monkey on my back. You know, I just need you to know that. I don't need you to be my parent, but I just want to give full disclosure. Leos that aren't giving full disclosure, Leos that think they can just all of a sudden do the honeymoon phase and freak your partner out with your temper outburst or your get caught lying or 14 bottles of tequila in a drink. Yeah, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. The force will bring you down and will expose you. So you'll get drama. You think you're going to bring drama to somebody else, you'll get it. So Leo, shine brightly without needing to overwhelm or overshadow others. And then your willingness, Leo, to lead with the kindness, to lead with integrity, will attract lasting support and genuine love with integrity or job integrity, whatever you choose to prioritize. If you're Virgo, it's hitting the Aquarius part of it is hitting your sixth house. You're on a comeback, Virgo. There's some long-held health issues, mental health, psychological bouts with depression. If I don't have this to help me, then I get depressed with that. There could be stomach issues, back issues, joints, some type of little accident that happens that kind of puts you flat on your back, or that you're working through because you've ingested or kept in that stress mentally. Virgos and Geminis Geminis get it out, but Virgos tend to internalize it a lot, like Cancers. So Virgo, I would say, take the time to micromanage your health and actually follow through with the steps. Don't learn about the vitamin or the herb and then stop taking it. You know, start getting some variety in wellness and holistic things. Maybe Tai Chi. I really feel Tai Chi is getting more popular now, maybe even over yoga, some of those gentle movements, so that more of an audience could get involved of any age, children as well as seniors, because Tai Chi is more about balance and not overstressing your joints. So think about that, Virgo. I just kind of got a psychic thing about that Tai Chi. Just start it and see how you feel about it. The sun conjuncting Jupiter and Leo in your 12th house, Virgo, is showing you the path ahead. It's putting light, like you're coming out of the forest and you're seeing those light beams through the trees. And it's saying, well, I'm going to go to the light. I'm going to go to the light. But you may have to confront, Virgo, where you are disparaged, where you feel sad, where you feel like that you don't know how to get the affection that you need, or where you feel like that's eclipsed right now. You know, it's like, why is it that my dog got skunked and I love to hug my dog every night and now I have to wait? Like it's not a no, but there might be some delays, or there might be some bridges that you have to cross all the way over to clear something up and to let it go. So it's listen carefully, Virgo, to your intuition and allow those burdens to be released that no longer need to hold place in your future. So I would say for Virgos, rest is productive now. If it feels like you got up and you had a bunch of stuff you needed to do and you just need to have the tea, the coffee, or whatever and lay in the bed, it isn't that you're not being productive. It's that is a productive thing for you to recharge your physical, mental, psychological soul battery. If you're Libra, it's an interesting dynamic for you. You've got Saturn and Neptune in your opposite sign of Aries, urging you to be very much more present in all of your intimate relationships. Like they're going to hit some type of climatic apex of like, I'm raw, I'm bare, my hair's down, this is who I am, good, bad, and ugly. I feel like there's a richness coming into like real intimacy, like you've seen me at my worst, you've seen me at my most scared, frightened, you've helped me through things, I've helped you through things. There's like a real teamwork alignment that's going on for Libra in their most private, secretive, passionate, intimate world, because Aquarius is lighting up your fifth house, and somehow your kids or your grandkids are involved in this. It's like you're very aware, Libra, that you're living your legacy and you want to make a difference now. It's not like Libra wants to make sure they're leaving somebody something if they should leave the planet. They want to teach and watch the enthusiasm of the child or the grandchild and watch the seeds take place. Libra is very much aware of how can I implement a very valuable truth with my child, even if they're 40, with my grandchild, with my stepchild. It's like they know that they're planting seeds to help that future generation thrive with their work, with their relationships. And the Leo aspect for Libra has a lot to do with the 11th house of dreams and goals. And where's your tribe? Who's your real team? It isn't always family all the time. You know, family's there for karmic reasons, but then we meet the people that are just like, man, I'm glad our paths crossed, even if it's temporary, even if it's for 6 years of my life, or we're neighbors, or, you know, we always have stayed in touch, even though type of a thing, you got divorced or this or happened, you know, like you matter. So it's like the people that have proven over time that matter to Libras, even if they're not physically having dinner with them or visiting them all the time. This is a very powerful cycle of seeing who your current support team is, like the coaches and the team players and maybe even the cheerleaders. If you're a Scorpio, the Aquarius highlights your 4th house. So this is that core foundation in your chart. Now, I read with authors like Isabel Hickey and Dane Rudger and even some of the Edgar Cayce teachings that the 4th house in someone's natal chart, in their birth and nativity, the birth chart, the 4th house is what the soul wants. And a lot of people look to the 8th house at the last part of life or conditions around death or dying or passing. Esoteric astrologers look at the 4th house as the real core message of life purpose and the second half of life and what really needs to be soul resonating. And so this full moon triggers that. And then all this Leo stuff for Scorpio is hitting the 10th house. So the light is leading you upward, out away from that which is just your comfort zone or where you go to be the Scorpio that goes under the rock, a spider that knows how to hide, even though you can see the spider web, you can't see the spider. So the scary side of Scorpio, the predator side of Scorpio, usually Scorpios, what people don't realize about Scorpios is Scorpios can sting their own selves before they'll actually admit defeat. Like they'll take themselves out or they'll just disappear, you know, if they feel like it's a no win zone kind of a thing. So for Scorpio right now, there's a whole lot of psychological wheels turning, and there's a lot of things. There's a lot of cord snapping, shadow work, cord cutting type of things. You can look that up on Pinterest. You can look at the different types of therapy. I love doing cord cutting work. I love, in a safe, easy way, intuitively helping clients work through where they feel like the cord or the leash or the tether always seems to come back to them, because that's a huge release. I mean, it's amazing how patterns stop repeating when you work through those cords. So for Scorpio right now, the Sun and Jupiter and soon Mercury are going to put you in the spotlight professionally. There's an advancement possible, absolutely. But there's certain home responsibilities or scenarios that require attention. Maybe it's remodeling, maybe you're relocating, but there's something shifting at your core home base. You know, maybe you've been living in an RV and now you're going to actually take residence in a home or something, or someone's moving in or you're moving in with them. There's a shift. Sagittarius, all this fire stuff has got your world active. I see Sagittarians. I hear music with Sagittarians. I feel like music soothes. Maybe for some it's dance, poetry, but I'm feeling sound frequencies, tuning forks, certain music, certain lyrics. I just keep seeing musical notes all around you, Sagittarius. And for you, it's the 3rd house. That's Aquarius moon in alignment with Pluto. So music will literally transform you without having to go through all the details of that which haunted you from the rejections and abandonments of your childhood or your past. Music can actually cut that cord. Music can actually, because you're playing, you're singing, there's an inspiration coming to you and it's reciprocity. It's going out to someone else. So this full moon in Aquarius is encouraging you, Sagittarius, to prioritize networking, stay curious, embrace adventures of soul and psyche, and trust that this knowledge is leading to opportunities that are spiritually powerful. And if you're Capricorn, it's Aquarius. Aquarius is the sign right after Capricorn, and Capricorn's ruler is Saturn. Saturn right now and Neptune are at a square to you, Capricorn, being in the sign of Aries. It's a cardinal square that requires action. So this full moon in the sign of Aquarius is all of a sudden it may be someone that you're helping financially, that someone needs rescuing, someone has a predator around them, someone is in need of a good person putting boots on the ground and stepping in going, yeah, no, I'm here now. Yeah, you're not going to do that to that person. This abuse stops now. So even though it's a second house, it's what do you value? So whatever money and security of earthly realm that Capricorns have right now, with this Leo factor, Capricorn, you may be asked to be the hero that saves the day. You may be asked to be the advocate for someone medically. You may be asked to be the one that says, I can cut the check. I'll take care of that. That's not going to happen. That person's not going to suffer anymore. That's a good person, and I'm in the mix of it now. So y'all better pump your brakes and back up, because the king and the queen just showed up, and I have the power of the pen, the checkbook, and legal authority and reputational ability to say, you're not going to abuse this person. This is a good person. And so they're going to step in as the soldier that makes the difference. It's all around Capricorn right now that they're making a difference in someone's life that couldn't fight back at the time. And this full moon in Aquarius is, of course, a second house full moon, wise budgeting, practical planning. Don't take unnecessary risks, even though Mercury went direct. It's stewardship, and it's putting your boots on the ground on who or what you believe in, and investing your time and money so that it makes a difference in someone else's life. And for Aquarius, oh boy, this Pluto in Aquarius, you're getting used to that since last year. I mean, your whole world is transforming, and you're enjoying watching your ability to transform someone else, encouraging them, being an encouragement coach for someone else, maybe younger than you, getting on their work path, getting in their scholastic, getting their groove on to do with skill sets and talent development, and helping them believe in themselves. You got this. Get up. You got this. You got more talent than the whole room. Respect the room and go out there and give your best performance. Stop giving up. Go do it again. So the spotlight is directly on you with this full moon. It's the full moon in Aquarius, the only one of this year. And what's happening with you, Aquarius, is your relationships certainly are taking center stage. Now, why is that? If Aquarius is your sign, that's the first house. The opposite of that is Leo. We got a whole bunch of stuff happening in Leo over the next couple of months, actually for the next 6 months minimum. Long range, 18 and a half months. Aquarius and Leo are in an 18 and a half month cycle to get their one-on-one situations better position. That's the nuts and bolts of this eclipse cycle for an Aquarius or a Leo. So you've got to get out there and put your own mojo on and do the best. I think it was the Army, be the best that you can be. It's kind of like that. It's boot camp, coming back from the battlefield, doing the discipline, staying the course, because these eclipses, and Aquarius and Leo, is how do you expect somebody else to do better if you're barking rules, but you're not abiding by it yourself? It's called the double standard. So level up, Aquarius. Let other people around you see that you are applying yourself and you are diligent with this self-improvement and improving your world. And some days are easier than others, but you still stay the course. That's what's going to help your whole world evolve. And then finally, Pisces. This is Aquarius is a sign before yours. So if there's been a battle with addiction, if it's 12th house for you, Pisces, if there's been a choice to escape, to avoid, to enable, because you just don't want the drama of it all. I can't see Pisces really wanting drama in their life, but you may be unconscious to the fact, Pisces, that you're invoking drama. I can think of 3 Pisces people that I know right now. One's battling a long-term addiction to a prescription. Another one is just the nicest person you would ever want to meet, but their spouse and their children have dumped, the grandkids have been dumped on them like stray cats and dogs, and the spouse hollers at them all the time, just the nicest person that you would ever want to be around. And another Pisces that I know is absolutely just said to the family, yep, take a pause. I'm going to go deal with myself spiritually and psychologically. They're in therapy. They're going over the old stuff that has silently haunted them for a while. It's not an addiction problem. It's just like, it's catharsis. It's metamorphic. It's like, I'm not a cocoon anymore. I need to feel what it feels like to be the butterfly. So Pisces right now, they're enjoying embracing depth. They're enjoying the hermit's repose. You know, like the hermit card in the tarot is more Virgo. But you got to remember, Pisces and Virgos have had these eclipses and these node things hit them for the last almost 2 years, 18 and a half months. So Pisces and Virgos are kind of going, oh my God, you know, yeah, okay, I'm ready for something new and easy. I don't want something heavy. So there's an introspection incorporating with Pisces intuition, and now they're ready to go put those new talents into the world. I will never disregard my intuition again, says Pisces. Now I will, you know, trust my divine connection. I will show up with my totally authentic self. And I know that sometimes I need motivation. I know sometimes Pisces, I often have said in Florida, when I lived in Florida and did my radio and TV shows, I would say Pisces can equal procrastination. So Pisces can equal the pause before the cause. So it's like there is going to be more of a get on with it, Pisces. I mean, certainly stop complaining about it, stop whining about it, stop trying to negotiate with your mind in it, and just, you know, jump into the game, because what you've been doing is over processing everything that slowed you down, or you went into such a hermit's repose because there was so much intensity out there that you didn't feel like that you saw how you welcomed it in. But it was a teacher too. It was a teacher too. Even addicts eventually can come to a point of going, wow, that was a tough excursion. That was a tough lesson. But only when I got out from under it did I understand why I took it as my teacher. I embraced it for me to be able, the world was so harsh. Everything was so, it hurt so bad. I just had to go numb. Any addiction is someone wanting to escape and numb themselves because they've hit overwhelm. They've dissociated. So that's why when you go into something spiritual, you don't want to be a groupie at the retreat or the ceremony. Sit in the back, do the work, be fully present, stop focusing on just who you'll meet socially. That's a byproduct. If you're a Pisces right now, really get into the core base level of how can I allow this to enrich me, to empower me without expectation. I'm here, like Nicole said, on my knees, help me, God. I'm ready to rise above it. And again, I'm going to finish with all the signs. In whatever way in your house, it's both the baptism, the bowing down to a higher power, and also the resurrection of I'm not that addict anymore. I'm not just bitter anymore. I'm not just blaming my family, my past lover, you know, the death of this or that. I'm not looking back anymore as my reference. I'm turning around and saying, thank you, God. Thank you, divine. I'm here. I'm present. Let's go. That's this moon.
Such a powerful full moon, guys. Like, really loaded, but in a great way. In a great way. Mary, thank you so much for taking us through the signs. Of course, as a Taurus sun and Cancer ascendant, you nailed mine. Thank you very much. And thank you. Yeah, thank you to everyone who's been in the live chat and dropping in your comments. We appreciate you so much. Don't forget to hit the like button on this video and drop comments. You know, Mary always comes back to check in and say hi to those of you who've left comments. So please do. And share this episode with anyone else, because this is any of your friends, your family, people who you know are into astrology, or, you know, just really wanting to move their life forward, because there is, healing. There is something very, very special about what is happening in the sky that is absolutely influencing, providing opportunities, opening up new pathways for each and every one of us. And this is a pivotal turning point for so many of us in our lives right now. So take advantage of it. Take advantage of all of the insights and information that Mary has just shared with you. And of course, don't forget You can always book a reading with her. This is one of the best times of the year too, always at that midpoint, 6th month. We're going into eclipse season. The eclipse portal is now open. This is such a great time to get your reading with Mary. And of course, you have a few days left till the end of July to book a reading with me if you'd like to do so. And again, if you're really wanting big change real fast and like change that really makes a difference in your life, not just it's a moment, it's an experience, and then you're done, definitely come to the 3-day 180 retreat. If you've been thinking about it, it's been on your bucket list. This is definitely one you don't want to miss. So this September, we have 2 tickets left. One of them may have your name on it. Love to see you there. All the links are in the description below. Mary, thank you again for being here with us and spending your time with us on this wonderful, wonderful time. Go check out Mary's broadcast on what day was it? Did you say August 4th or 6th or?
August 4th, I'll be, there's an actual free radio listen, but the website is Into the Para, abnormal. So not just paranormal, Into the Abnormal. The host is Jeremy Scott, and it'll be on my Eastern time zone, 10 to 11. We're going to talk about the eclipses and the effects of that. Every show's different and unique. Of course, it's more in-depth here with you, the full moons. It's always the full moons are the most in-depth that Nicole and I tithe and gift to you. And then my other broadcast will be at the actual eclipse, the regular one I've done for 8 years now on Lighting the Void with Joe Roop. That one will be on the actual solar eclipse night of August the 12th. And that one is at 10 o'clock Eastern into midnight. That's a 2-hour one. And that's live when we take calls. So any astrologer worth their salt, like Nicole and I are doing, we're giving to you. And of course, you can give back and support us and get readings and help us with our work. It helps us to reach more people. Like she said, share it. Like I put it all over my Facebook pages of Cosmic Conditions, Star Shaman, on my Instagram. Just put the YouTube video out there, because you then are tithing for other people that you may not even know, that are going to be able to hear some information that could help them overcome an obstacle that they thought that they were going to drown in. Not because I'm something special, Nicole's something special, you're something special. Well, we are. All of us are. But because the word got out to them and their spirit got to rise up instead of feeling like they were just going to fall down and give up. So let's do our part when it resonates with you, when you know it's hopeful, healing words and energy and dynamics and course direction. Let's get it out there. And so a bunch of people can benefit from it that have the ability to listen to YouTube and go on these websites to be able to receive the blessings. And you know what? As you give, so will you be blessed. I give all the time. I tithe all the time. My time, my money, I give things to people. So yeah, I'm telling you, tithing is a treasure that we all could get a little more familiar with, because it's magic. Thank you, Nicole. Bless you all.
Yeah, thank you, Mary. Thank you to everyone who's been here listening with us live, been in the comments, in the live chat. Thank you so much for showing up and sharing your joy, your light. And of course, if you're listening later on, thank you so much. If you're listening on Spotify and you want to leave a comment, please do. I love reading the comments on Spotify. Guys, love you so much. We will be back again with you next week. And of course, the next time Mary comes back here, we will be looking at our eclipse. It'll be a full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces, our last one, I believe, of Pisces. So this is going to be a big one too. So tune in for that one in the end of August. But guys, I love you. Have an incredible week unfolding and then month. And Mary and I will be back with you next time. Be good to each other. Be good to yourself. Be better, not bitter, and dance with chance.